I guess you rolling with me this rising. Greetings. I'm the Mad Trucker, and this is a late edition of the Morning Drive Live. With me, your host, the Mad Trucker, where we'll be talking about topics that affect everybody. Okay, now, this live is welcome to all who would like to attend, regardless of your religion, your sexual preference, or politics. The only thing that's required is that you first, read my channel description. You have to read my channel description, and if it's something that you would like to participate in this comment section, simply greet everybody in the comment section, including myself, with a peaceful greeting according to your culture, your customs, and your ways. And after you do that, bare minimum, 2 letters, H and I, let me know you're a civilized human being and you really want to participate and not troll. You can type whatever comment, whatever troll you want to type. You know, come in peace, leave in peace. Don't come trying to take peace. Hold on. I mean, nobody's forcing anybody to watch anybody. But if you are watching, I do appreciate it. And if you are watching, I want to let you know that today is a special day. I'm going to tell you why today's a special day. Today's a special day because throughout the annals of time and history and space in the cosmos, there has never, and when I say never, I do mean never, ever, there has never been a day like today, right now. You know, it's unique unto itself because after today is gone, it's never coming back. You know, and it's also a special day today because there are some people that were breathing yesterday that are not breathing today. So if you're watching this now or at a later date, I want to say right now, shalom, peace be unto you, and I appreciate you for watching. And I don't tell grown people what to do. I simply share what works for me because it'll work for everybody, but everybody ain't gonna subscribe to it, and that's fine, and I know that. However, to those that want to cure themselves of an affliction that I discovered in 2016, you are in the right place. And all you have to do is just greet everybody peacefully in the comment section. You can make your statement, ask your question, okay? And I will answer you. I will give you an answer. And if I do not know the answer, or if my answer seems to be flawed, we can have a conversation about it, okay? And that's what this live is for. This live is for conversations, not for arguments, debates, or wars. If you want to argue with me or anybody in the comment section, you want to go to you want to debate me or anybody in the comment section, you're in the wrong place. However, if you would like to go to war with lies, if you would like to expose lies, these lies that enslave us all, then you're in the right place. And conversations are truthful and honest questions and answers using logic to come up with solutions to problems. Something can't be right or something can't be wrong just because you say so. You have to articulate yourself. And the smooth brain cannot articulate his or herself or whatever colorful pronoun that they go by. And if you like help, you can help yourself. Because at the end of the day, this affliction that I'm talking about, that I'm always talking about on TikTok, is self-induced. Yeah, and the only person that can cure themselves of that syndrome is that person suffering from that syndrome. And the first step is admitting that they have that syndrome. Admitting that they don't know everything. Stepping outside of their ego to see something that's bigger than them. Because if you live in your life and it's all about me, you say it's all about me, you're missing out on a bigger picture. And our first guest is Danny. Shalom, welcome to the live. If you want to make a statement or ask a question about the topic or the live, please feel free to do so after you read my channel description. But welcome, I appreciate your presence. Regardless of your intentions, I appreciate your presence. Because your presence is evidence. Evidence of what? Evidence that you're unique and wonderfully made. You are a one of one. Good or bad, black, white, polka dot with stripe, you're unique. Okay, and I do appreciate you watching. A lot of things going on. So what I'm going to do, and I didn't go live yesterday rising, so this rising I promised some subscribers that if they wanted to come and ask questions that were not related to the topic that I addressed in my last live, that it's going to be an open topic. So if you give a greeting in the comment section and you have a civilized topic of discussion, and you seriously really want to have a conversation about a topic, and you greet me in the comment section, please feel free to pick a topic. But the topic has to affect everybody and not just you. In other words, it affects you and everybody around you. That's the thing. There are some things that we are, as Americans, programmed to let slide off. Like this country was stolen, it wasn't conquered. Like once saved, always saved is not a thing. Like God loves everybody is not a thing. Like Jesus, the one that they now call Jesus, he doesn't love everybody. These are truths if you read the standard. We have our first deviant. I'll help you. You never have to worry about seeing me again. See, that's how that works. You don't have to watch me. If you don't like what I'm saying and you can't articulate yourself, you act like a 2-year-old. That lets me know you're an adult child, because this live is only for adults. It's marked for adults. If you come in here acting like a 2-year-old or a 10-year-old with these little quibs, this ain't the live for you. And we have now Red Lotus. If you would greet the room peacefully, I'd be more than happy to elaborate on what an American is, what you mean by Americans, and why Americans, and why it's in quotations, because the definition changed. And I as an individual that wrestle against principalities, and principality means origin, I like using the original definition of words. So if you would, Red Lotus, show me that you're a peaceful, civilized individual, and just greet everybody in the room with a peaceful greeting, according to your culture, your customs, your way. It could be namaste, shalom, shalom, assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you, what's up, blood, what's happening, high room, something of that nature. I'd be more than glad to help you with that. And if you can't do that, my advice to you is to research the original definition of American, and you'll know why I put it in quotations. I mean, if you're here to learn, or if you're really here to learn and not troll, respectfully speaking, honestly speaking, truthfully speaking, yeah, because that's what that is. You know, I don't force what I believe on other people. I just, you know, tell people what I know, to my own detriment. Being a sacrifice for those that want to improve themselves. But that's up to the individual. And here we go. Yeah, I'm out here. And kick and flip one, shalom. That counts as a greeting. Sup? It's up to you too, man. Most I bless and keep you. Cedric, I appreciate the sentiment. Shalom, man. Peace be unto you. And kick and flip. If you cannot act like an adult, please leave the room. You're probably late for school anyway. Your bus is coming. Okay? Your bus is coming. You don't want to miss out on that indoctrination that got you typing these nonsensical things in the comment section, now do you? 20, what I got to do with anything? I'll tell you what it has to do with something. It has everything to do with your smooth brain. Kick and flip. Your brain is smooth. Because you're looking at my hair and assuming things, but you don't know me. And not only is that evidence of your SBS, the fact that you don't want to get to know me. You just feel like you can feel good about yourself by coming in my live and implying something, right? And that's on you. That's your free will choice. And I want to say thank you, Kick and Flip One, for following the format. Don't you have a bus to catch? I tell you what, your mama calling you, you know, have a good day. All right? Have a good day. Try again tomorrow when you get up for school, if you are in school, if you're homeschooled by a bunch of racists. Thank you very much. Red Lotus, I'm going to say it again. And after I say it for the second time, that's it for you. If you cannot greet everybody in this space peacefully, please leave. If you cannot follow the format outlined in the channel description, you can leave. And if you can't greet people peacefully, that lets me know that you know, and you don't want me to tell people. Because greeting somebody peacefully shouldn't be beneath you, especially somebody you don't know and never met. But obviously it is. Okay? And you are trolling. If you cannot say hello, if you cannot say namaste, if you cannot say greetings, if you cannot say peace, if you cannot say hi, yeah, you trolling. Regardless if your questions are valid or not, you're trolling. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Whatever pronoun you go by. Now let's look at it. All right. Red Lotus. I'm going to start with the first one. Let's look at it, Nubis. Red Lotus says, why Americans in quotation? Because I answered that. Even though, you know, you didn't greet everybody, I answered that question. I put Americans in quotation mark because the original definition of an American, as coined by the Europeans that formed that definition, is as follows. An American refers to the aboriginal copper-colored inhabitants of the continent now known as America, later to include European settlers. Now, Donald Trump said, America is for pure-blooded Americans. When he made that statement, basically what he was doing was exercising racism against people that look just like him. He erased the back end of that definition for an American. Because if it's all about your blood, none of the settlers that came to this continent were pure-blooded Americans. And by default, neither are their descendants. And a lot of people that like Donald Trump, they root him on, not knowing that he's cutting them out and cutting themselves off to spite their own face. That's what that is, Red Lotus. And you say, Red Lotus says, so why Americans? I'm not trying to troll or judge, just curious why you did that. Okay. Well, I hope that answered that question, Red Lotus, and I do appreciate your presence in the live. I really do. No cap. But that answers that question. And if the answer is flawed, you got to tell me how it's flawed, because I got receipts. The original definition of what an American is, that's the receipt, coined by the Europeans that came up with that definition. And we have someone whose message is held for review, and I'm assuming, yeah, well, I mean, that's cool, but just for the purposes of conversations, we ain't gonna throw them insults. We're just gonna call them smooth brains. That's why I coined that syndrome on my TikTok as SBS, smooth brain syndrome. It's not an insult, it's an observational statement that, yeah, Donald Trump has a smooth brain, and so do the people that follow Donald Trump, regardless of what color skin they in. They got smooth brains. And I'm gonna tell you how they got those smooth brains. If you haven't tuned into my TikTok, it comes from a metaphorical wax. So metaphorical wax is a cream, it's a salve, it's white, and it comes in a jar marked supremacy, and it's not skin tone specific. Anybody can slather it on. And we all have had a taste of it through the educational system, that indoctrinational system that we all have to go through before we knew about that pseudoscience of race. Because race is a pseudoscience. Racism is the system of race. And if everybody stopped practicing race, racism would die by default. That's logic. If you're more proud of the color of your skin than your accomplishments in life, you have smooth brain syndrome. And TC, nobody asked what you would rather. Okay? And it, like I told Red Lotus, and Red Lotus sees that I'm civilized, okay? That if you cannot greet people first, if you cannot read my channel description first, then what you're doing is you're here to argue, and that's not what my live is for, okay? It's not a place for that, okay? I'm not gonna let anybody attack anybody in my comment section. I'm not gonna do that, okay? I'm not gonna do that. And we're gonna stay on format. And if following a format respectfully, conversation, not discussion, conversation. That's the last one I'm gonna answer, TC. If you don't put a peaceful greeting in the comment section, I'm not going to address you. And if you keep typing, I'm going to block you. Because it's not too much to ask. You don't have to agree with the LGBTQ lifestyle, for example, right? To greet them peacefully. And you know what a lamer thing is? You. So who's really lame? You're lame. That's why you're here, to learn, but it's obvious you can't, or you refuse to, as a result of that wax that I was talking about earlier. Okay? As a result of that wax. Now, you can help yourself, or I can help you. You understand? But I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself, TC. All right? So what you want to do? Yeah, you smoke wax. That's exactly right. So I tell you what, you do that on somebody else's channel, okay? You do that on somebody else's channel. And thank you for stopping by and providing the evidence that your brain is as smooth and as non-stick as one of those copper pans they advertise on TV. I appreciate that evidence. Now, Red Lotus says, agreed, man. Thanks. You nailed it. I appreciate that, Red Lotus. And like I said, it's not skin tone specific. This wax, this cream, this salve, this metaphorical I'm going on about, anybody can slap it on, and we all have had a taste of it. If you live in the United States of America and you went through 12 years of the educational system, you have a taste of that wax. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Don't let it slide off. Red Lotus, that's the whole point. Don't let it slide off. Don't let the definition of what an American is slide off and make it up as you go along. Because that's what they're doing in government. That's what they're doing in schools. That's what they're doing for our children. They're making up, they're refining an unjust system for the children that will be living after we long gone. Yeah. Here's something else that slides off a lot of people's gray matter. There isn't anybody walking on this planet that's 200 years old. Nobody. You ever meet a 200-year-old? No, right? But the ones in power, they steady want to edit information. They want to limit information. That's what this new refinement of white supremacy is. And that's right. But the thing is, Red Lotus, I don't tell grown people what to do. I don't. But I really want you to magnify on the sentence that I just said. If everybody stopped subscribing to a race, racism wouldn't exist. And even though, and this is not an attack. These are just observational statements. You are not the same color as the pages in this book, sir. I'm looking at your profile picture. White is a class. It's a class. And so is black. They are classes. And the definition of racism, why everybody talking about racism, they don't want to go to the original definition, when it was written down, who wrote it down, why they write it down. I'm going to enlighten you. See, racism is defined as a pseudoscience. It puts pseudo later because science has proven it to be false. But at the time when he wrote it down, he said, racism is a science that places people into groups or classes known as races, deeming one race superior than the rest of the races based upon physical appearance alone. It's just like you, Red Lotus. I didn't look at your profile picture and say, oh man, he's racist. Oh, he a Klansman. No. It's welcome to all. Right? So I wouldn't identify myself with white. I'm pretty sure you have German or Scottish or Dutch or English. In America, here in America, they call people that look like me African Americans. But you never hear anybody say I'm a English American, or I'm a European American, or I'm a Scottish American, unless they immigrated to this country. You know, they immigrate to this country, they give them one of these, the white card. And they say, look, if you turn it in, you a Negro like the rest of them. Because truthfully speaking, in the science of race, there's only two classes. There's only two groups. There's only two categories. You have white and you have non-white. That's it. That's all. Thanks for coming out. God bless. Good night. And like I said, I am not above correction. But I'm not going to handle any disrespect. Like TC, And see what the shame, what the travesty is. What TC did is evidence. I should have let it stand. That wax is not skin tone specific. Red Lotus gets it. Anybody that watches this live, is watching this live now or at a later date, you can say that Red Lotus gets what I'm saying. And if you don't, correct me. I'm not above correction. But I think you understand what I'm saying. I think you understand what I'm saying. And Call of Duty, go play your video game, please. That's what you can do. Go play your video game. I don't have time for you. You late for your school, man. Go catch the bus. Do better. But that's the thing. But here it is, TC, somebody that looks like me, is trolling in my live. You see what I'm saying? So back to you, Red Lotus. So now, who's white and who's black? You blacker than TC right now. You understand? So that whole thing is a slippery slope. It's been a slippery slope since they invented it. This whole science of race. Just looking at people and putting them in a box that their spirit don't fit in. The spirit don't fit in that box. You know? This live is for conversations. Conversations, and the definition of a conversation will not deviate from any of my lives. Conversations are defined as truthful and honest questions and answers using logic to come up with solutions to problems, not cause problems. Folks jumping up in my live talking about I smoke wax. Oh, this is lame. No, you're coming to start a problem. But I don't have no problem. If I got a problem got a problem till it's gone. Now, if you're here to listen, learn, participate, that's fine. But there are rules. And that's something that people with SBS don't take into account for. There are rules. And you can't make the rules. You see, there was one that walked on this planet that the Most High sent, that was the truth in flesh. And he laid out the rules. And it was the same rules that were laid out before he was sent. And it's a higher standard. It's a higher standard. And if you're not subscribing to a higher standard, or if you don't wish to subscribe to a higher standard, this live is not, everything I'm saying gonna trigger you. Everything that the logical people like Red Lotus is typing in the comment section is going to offend you because you're not logical. You're not thinking logically. And it's not like it's beyond your scope to do so. It's not beyond your scope to think about what you're typing and what you are doing, and simply ask yourself, would you want somebody to do that to you? It don't take a rocket science to do that. It don't take a pastor, a preacher, a minister, reverend to do it. It just takes a critically thinking mind to do that. Red Lotus says, people are people. How you act and what you do is important. I can dig, man. I just hope people listening more to people like you instead of just thinking they know everything. Exactly. And that's another reason. Thank you, Red Lotus. You get it. He gets it. Because I don't know everything, man. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. But iron sharpens iron. Because what you don't know that I know, I can teach you. What you know that I don't know, you can teach me. And iron sharpens iron. But if we sharpen an iron, are we using this iron to defend ourselves in a righteous system? To be righteous? Or are we just sharpening iron to go make victims of somebody? You see, it's what we do with the information. And that's why a lot of people will come and they'll troll and they'll, you know, type sexually deviant things in the comment section. They'll come at me, oh, I'm Bob Marley and this and that. It doesn't bother me. Because if you know who you are, nobody can put you in that box again. But the key is figuring out who you are. And if anybody wants to know who and what I am, all they got to do is read my channel description. But any little box somebody tries to put me in, I don't fit in it. I'm not gonna fit. I'm busting out like Rick James. Because that's my nature. You can't put my spirit in a box. I ain't gonna let nobody put my spirit in a box. Tell me. Like, nobody knows. You watching this right now, know you better than you. Nobody. Nobody knows you better than you. Yeah, but that's kind of that's dangerous though, Red Lotus. Because when you become your own God, you become self-serving, and other people become food around you. If you're your own God, you got to have some servants. You got to have people worshiping you. You got to have people bowing to your every will, agreeing with everything you say. This is like here. If anything that I'm saying you disagree with, tell me why you disagree, and offer a logical synopsis on why you don't agree. You know, because the only thing that I fight is lies. Like the channel description is like it's detailed in the channel description. I go to war with lies, and a half of a truth is a whole lie. It's like Call of Duty. I'm telling you, you're running late for school. Okay, that's an indoctrination system. When they send you to school, they're gonna tell you that, oh, the Pilgrims and the Indians were friends. That's not what it says in the Library of Congress. That's not what the evidence. If you look at the evidence, that's not a logical conclusion that you can come to, taking into account what those settlers did to those Indians, and they still doing to those Indians. That's not a logical conclusion. If I am my own God, who created me? And I'm not pumping religion. I'm not, and it's not no attack, man. I hope you're not taking this as no attack, Red Lotus. But like I said, it's about conversation. Let's talk about it. Being your own God. If you are your own God, that means do as thou wilt. That means you do whatever you want to do, and you make your laws, and you break your laws, you give your law, you take your law. And your law might not be a fair, just, or righteous law. Because if you're your own God, you can say, okay, I'm God, and all white people are descend from monkeys. Because I'm my own God, y'all got to believe me. Because I'm my own God, it's true. Even though it doesn't make any sense, it's true. See, it's a dangerous, slippery slope. Now, I know where that comes from. That comes from that higher standard that I'm talking about. Psalms 84. If it's not 84, it's Psalms 82. It says, ye are gods, children of the Most High, but ye shall die like the princes, like mortal men. Because that three-letter word, God, has messed up everybody spiritually for centuries. And like I said, I don't know nobody 200 years old. So we have to go back to the origin, because we aren't supposed to wrestle with principalities. I mean, we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. We don't wrestle with flesh and blood. I don't wrestle with flesh and blood. I don't come at people. I come at their ideas. The principality means origin. I struggle with origins, trying to find the original. That's why the whole thing about Americans in quotation marks, that's why I did it that way. Because I'm going by the original definition of the word. And versions are not original. People's minds would explode if they looked into where that King James Bible come from. Their minds would explode, these Christians, these so-called Christians. When they find out that Jesus is not written anywhere in the first King James Bible, because the letter J didn't exist when he wrote it. It's Isus. And then if you read the Quran, it speaks of Issa, the same one that they call Jesus today. Issa, Isus, that sounds a lot alike. Sort of like when you say Shalom and Shalom, sound a lot alike. But it is a spirit. Because that one is greater than I, that I sup with, that says that I can do all things through him that strengthens me, says there are two laws in our reality. The law of the flesh and the law of the spirit. And because matter and energy, they can't be created. They just change form. Matter and energy can't be created. It just changes form. We have to consider these things. Even if we don't subscribe to the Bible, even if we don't subscribe to the scriptures, some things, suffice it to say, don't make sense. Red Lotus says, I guess I mean be your own God, as in your own master of both mind. There you go. Now, I agree with that. Because we are supposed to control this. We're supposed to control this. And it's the way we are taught to control this is flawed, because we are taught to control this through the lens of race, and it's flawed. Because you can't just look at somebody and say that they eat fried chicken and watermelon. You can't just look at somebody and say they smoke weed. I don't smoke no weed. I ain't smoking no weed. I got my dog in the car with me. And even if I didn't have a dog in the car with me, I drove an 18-wheeler. for almost 20 years. Okay? I got stories about when I was on the road where I stopped in certain places and folks wanted to lynch me. I got stories about how I had to pull a firearm on other drivers coming up to my truck trying to cut my airlines. I got stories about how when I was in New York at the Pilot getting diesel, white driver come push me to the side, say, "Get out the way, nigga." And I slapped him in his face. They called the police, and if it wouldn't have been for the cashier who wasn't infected with that wax and the videotape, they would have took me to jail. And when the cop showed up, yeah, he was the same color as that driver. And he automatically took his side and went to put me in handcuffs, and the cashier had to stop the cop from putting me in the handcuffs, let him know, no, he hit him first. No, if you're going to put him in cuffs, get you some other ones, put him in cuffs too. And I thank the Most High Creator, everything seen and unseen, that woman took up for me. That woman decided to subscribe to a higher standard that says what's right is right, what's righteous, not right. What is righteous, and what is unrighteous is unrighteous. And you have a decision. You have a decision as the master of your fate and the captain of your soul to make a decision on what kind of individual you want to be in this life. Because at the end of everybody's day, everybody work, get paid. You working for righteousness or you working for unrighteousness? And it's a personal question that people have to ask themselves. Go, Nubis. I know you see him. Go on. Go. It's a personal decision that someone has to make. You know, to follow a higher standard, even though that higher standard is hard, because we live in a world where it's easier to do wrong than it is to do right. It's easy to be unrighteous. It's hard to be righteous. But to those that endure for righteousness, whoever quests for righteousness, they shall be filled. But you have to quest for it. It says, seek and ye shall find. Few people seek anything outside of what they're told. And that's America in a nutshell. Americans believe what they told. They don't want to look into nothing. They don't want to expand their minds to say, well, hey, you know, why is this way? Why is it really this way? I know they told me this is why it is, but it doesn't make sense. So let me look into why it is the way that it is. If for nobody else, for myself, for my salvation. You know, truthfully speaking, honestly speaking, if you think when your spirit leaves your flesh, that's it, ain't nothing else, you've condemned yourself to hell and solitude, because that's exactly what you're gonna get. You know. And I appreciate you, Red Lotus. And like I tell everybody that comes in for conversations, you're welcome to come to my live anytime. Just like I said, when you come in, hello, hi, and then you can type whatever you want to type after that. You're more than welcome to do that. And if you got anything from this, or if you feel like, you know, somebody that you know might get something from this, then by all means, share the live. I don't tell people what to do, but you can share the live. And hopefully it'll help that person alleviate themselves of that syndrome that I discovered in 2016. You know, and the world needs more thinkers like you too, Red Lotus. The world needs more thinkers like you too. Because you see, just like that wax is not skin tone specific, thinking ain't skin tone specific either. Neither is salvation. But people have to want it. And guess what? You ain't gonna get it running into them buildings on Sunday and Saturday morning. You have to study it for yourself. And whether you study it out of the Torah, the Quran, or the Bible, study it. And if you can't apply it and you're just talking about it, you're falling short. You have to do it to get the blessings. And on that note, I think everybody's gone out of the live. And I want to say to those that join me this rising, to Red Lotus, Shalom. Thank you for joining. Call of Duty Kid, CJ, thank you for joining. Shalom. Thank you for joining. To, who is this? Who else joined? To TC, thank you for joining this live, this rising. To everybody that joined this rising. Kickflip Junior 1, thank you for joining. Cedric Swamp, thank you for joining. Andy Brown, Shalom, thank you for joining this rising. Well, I had to boot him because that was just nasty what he typed. Danny, Shalom, thank you for joining. And on that note, I want to say, may the Most High bless and keep you. May his countenance be gracious unto you. May the Most High smile on you and give you shalom. I'm the Mad Trucker. Thanks for watching.